Hello and welcome to today's Leadership Satsang. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Mendirata, forever grateful for your openness and willingness to learn. And that's what motivates me to show up every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. to share one important insight in the space of leadership so that you can become an impactful, transformational leader. Today, we're going to learn something which is extremely important for us to add a lot more efficiency in our ability to lead. But before that, let me put out a case study and you help me resolve this case, please. Okay, you've got to do this with me. So here is the case study. There are two leaders, both from the same industry, in fact, the same organization, but very different personalities. There is one, let's call him Arun. Arun is a very result oriented, laser sharp, focus on what really matters, what results to drive. That's the kind of person Arun is, right? So he gets the results that he wants. He gets the team to do what the team is expected to do. But here's the problem. The team is always in fear of Arun. And so the turnover is very high. And that turns out to be a big problem for the organization. And then there is Tarun. Tarun is someone who everybody likes, right? He is someone who focuses a lot on building relationships. So the team is very happy with him. But the problem here is that he's not able to make the team accountable for the results. They don't honor the deadlines, the timelines, and so the work eventually starts suffering. Now, who is a better leader of the two? Who do you think will succeed in the long run? Give me your answers in the comments. Let's see what you think. Well, my guess is that some of you might believe that, Arun at least is getting the results. So maybe he's a better leader of the two. And maybe that is how it looks like in the short run. But in the long run, and that's what we all have signed up for, isn't it? None of the two will make it. And that's because they are pretty much in the extremes of what leadership is supposed to look like, feel like. Right? Leadership is about bringing a balance between results and relationships, between logic and emotions, between the so-called right and what might appear wrong. What is that in between? What is that balance that needs to be created? And in every situation, this balance will look different. So there is no one formula. However, there are a few strategies that can help us to create this balance in different situations, dealing with different kind of individuals. And that is what I want to share with you all today. Do you think it'll be useful if you learn this in the next 15 minutes? Give me useful in the comments, please, if you think this will be a useful learning. And while you confirm it to me, I want you to also prepare yourself for being here in this moment completely. And you know how we do that. We will chant Om together 5 times, right? So let's prepare ourselves. Spine straight, shoulders relaxed, take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. Let's just forget about everything and everyone. Just for a minute, that's all. Just for a minute, connect with yourself. Take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. And quickly scan your body to see if there is any discomfort anywhere. Then adjust yourself. Just as how I feel the need to make sure you're absolutely comfortable at a physical level so that you can go deeper and connect with your core. Relax your forehead, relax your facial muscles, completely relax. Take a nice deep breath in. And let's chant. Om. Om. Oh. Oh. Shanti. 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 And whenever you're ready, please rub your palms together and gently place them on your eyes and face and neck, shoulders and arms and your entire body. And tell me that you hear 100%. Give me 100% in the chat, please. Say 100% and the location that you're joining in from so that I can welcome you all to today's satsang session. The session where we will learn how to create a balance between results and relationships. I'm often asked, Yukti, is it that in a few situations, results are more important than relationships? And there could be a few other situations where results don't matter as much and relationships are more important. Well, there is no straight answer to that. It does depend upon how you are assessing the importance of one over another, right? So that is at your discretion. Which one do you think is more important and in which situation? But if we learn how to strike the balance, then we probably will not be in that dilemma. We will not have to face that dilemma to decide which one is better. Should I go for results here? Should I focus more on relationships here? What is the right answer? Well, the right answer is one, and that is to know how to balance the two. So let me start with the first strategy first, and I want you to be super active in comments and let me know, how is this resonating with you? Are you already practicing these strategies? If yes, then how are they helping you? And if this is something that you want to make note of, then commit to the fact that you will start practicing it from this moment on. Starting with the first strategy, and that is to learn how to set high goals and also provide the necessary support for the team to achieve them. Now, it might sound very commonsensical, very obvious, but you know what? We miss it out completely and way too often than we would agree. And that's true. We do set high goals, but those goals are somewhere in our head only. There is lack of clarity in the team to understand what these goals are. Let me tell you, if you've set certain goals for yourself and you think that this is what we should go for, we've already achieved 10 crores, let's now go for 100 crores. If the team does not see it as possible, then they will not be motivated to achieve it. It should at least look possible. And if it's not looking possible to them, it's your job to make it appear that way. Because if you can't, then those are not the right goals to have in the first place. Right? Adding another zero to a number doesn't become a new target. It needs to have more logic than that. And if there is logic to it, it needs to be shared with the team so that they are motivated, they're driven to be able to get to where you want them to be. So the results are the goals that you want to achieve, isn't it? So the goals that you set for yourself should be audacious goals, absolutely. But remember, they should also be realistic. They should look possible. And if that's what you have in mind, then learn to articulate that, express that with absolute clarity. As I say, crystal clear clarity. So that every single person in the team says the same thing, sings the same song. It's not just a common goal, but a shared goal that you need to create, which is audacious, which is exciting, which can motivate people to get there. And then you take the sidelines and ask a simple question every single day, 10 times in a day. The question is, how can I support you? Because that's your only job. As a leader, you're a facilitator. You're someone who's supposed to be there to provide whatever support, resources, or anything else that's required for the team to achieve those audacious goals. So that's the first way to bring results and relationships together. You have made results very clear. There is no ambiguity left at all. And you also are developing relationships by providing your support. The second strategy is to learn how to give tough feedback with care. Now, the tough part of it is what we get carried away with. Oh, it's a tough feedback. Grow up. Learn to take tough feedback. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. You're too senior for me to talk sweetly with you. But you know what? Even if they're senior and they're experienced, they're people. And people like being appreciated. People like being respected. By disrespecting someone, you're not giving any better of feedback than otherwise. In fact, it's the worst way to give feedback. Because when you disrespect people, what do? They become defensive, right? And if I'm defensive, I'm close to accepting anything that you're saying, even if it makes a lot of sense, even if it's good for me. I'm not willing to accept it because you're hitting me in my face with your words. Tough feedback does not mean spitting on people's face. It means giving a feedback that is constructive, that is useful, but with care, with empathy, with love, with respect. So don't just go around telling people, hey, you suck. Hey, you know what? This is not working out. Hey, you're not getting the results that I expected you to. You can use better words, isn't it? You can rephrase it to say, hey, you know what? I don't think this is the best I can get from you. This is not the best you can bring to the table. Let's figure out how to get your best. Let's figure out how to get you to your next level. Let us figure this out. When you talk in an inclusive language, right? You're including people in your words, in the choice of words that you use when you speak to people, is when you can expect some exclusive results to come off it. So this is a learning. You've got to learn to give tough feedback, but with care. Netflix does it very well, by the way. Right? So they have this culture that they drive internally, and that's about bringing in freedom with responsibility. You know what they tell each other? They say that I am not going to let you underperform because that's how much I value you. I value you so much that I can't let you underperform. That's the ownership with which leaders talk to their teams. And when you reach out to your team in this manner, there is no personal attack being felt. Then any feedback that comes from you to me is a feedback with the intention to help me improve, help me grow. This is being inclusive. And when you include me, you know what I want to do for you? I want to give you exclusive results. That's how you create that balance between getting the results you want and developing the relationships necessary for it. Make sense? Give me make sense in the comments very, very quickly, please. I've shared 2 strategies already. And this is a lot of work that you need to consciously do for the next 6 months till you know that this is your first nature. This is how it is. You're very comfortable giving tough feedback, and you know that you should deliver it with care. You are a champ in setting audacious goals and aligning yourself and your efforts towards making sure the team gets the support. And then comes third one. And the third way that is extremely important and just as important is to build trust before you need it. Build relationships before you need it. It's like having an emotional bank account. You have to keep depositing before you can withdraw anything, isn't it? But as leaders, we think it's all right. I'm the leader. I can ask for what I want, and you have to provide. But you know what? Have tos don't stay for too long. Want to does. If your team has to do what you want them to do, they will not be around for too long. But if they want to do it, then you will get the best out of them, something that they haven't seen of themselves either. That is the power, superpower a leader has, to be able to drive people to a point where it could surprise them of their own potential. That happens when you invest in relationships. Keep depositing in this emotional bank account. Indra Nooyi used to do it beautifully. At PepsiCo, she was one leader who was known to send personalized notes appreciating people's contribution. Something that you would save forever. It's like a souvenir coming from your leader, isn't it? Even if it's a small piece of paper and, it's just some scribble on it. But it's not just any scribble. It's your leader writing a word or a phrase appreciating you for your contribution, for your effort. That means more than anything that money can buy. Do you agree? Give me agree in the comments if you do. And please also share if you've received such a note from your leader ever. And if you have, Haven't you saved it till date? Isn't it still with you? I would keep something like that with me forever. So the question is, how often have you written such a note for anyone who you have worked with, for anyone you have led? Because these are the deposits that you have to make. So that when there is time for withdrawal, which is what Indira also faced, there was a time when she had to go through a restructuring process internally. And she took some very tough calls. Some of those people who received the notes were also given another letter. And that piece of paper was not as pleasant. But those difficult decisions are part of leadership. We cannot dodge that. We cannot stay away from it. And you know what? We shouldn't, because that is part of the deal. But it becomes easier for you to make those decisions and for people to respect them because they see your intent behind it. They don't take it personally. Why? Because you've already invested in that relationship for way too long. And now you have the right to withdraw because it's time to do so. There is a need for it. And so you're allowed to do it. You understand what I'm saying here? This is super powerful. It needs to be practiced for you to experience the power in these strategies. Do they work? Every single time. And that's why I'm giving you real examples. These are real people who've used these strategies to be able to create that balance. Of course, you need to drive results as a leader. But let me tell you, there's no way to do that if you've not learned how to develop relationships. And don't make relationships your weakness. Relationship per se is not a weakness unless you make it into one. Right? When you've got to give a tough feedback, you've got to give it. When you've got to push people to achieve higher standards, you've got to do that. But not without putting in the necessary effort. The effort that every relationship will ask for. Because we have to work on our relationships. And then they start working for us. I hope this insight helps you to be an impactful leader so that you can create transformations wherever you go and bring in the change and raise the standards and push people with encouragement and excitement to do better than they think they can. And that's when you stand out as a leader. Thank you so much for being this open and willing to push yourself endlessly and for allowing me to do that for you as your coach, because that's my job. But I will not be able to achieve anything unless you're willing to work with me. So give me willing in the comments if you're willing to give it a shot, if you're willing to bring this balance between the two. And then you will see the magic unfold. I hope you experience this magic. And if you do, please do share it with me as well. I will see you next week with another insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Until then, take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much. God bless you all.